Now, President Biden and Democrats are trying to seize on the Supreme Court leak, warning that the issue facing the public is about much more than the future of Roe v. Wade, and ginning up fears that other basic rights could be next. Critics say the White House sees the expected unraveling of Roe as an opportunity to rally the base and boost fundraising in hopes to salvage the Democrats' chance in November. And the president's comments a short while ago signaled just that. Watch.
This is about a lot more than abortion. What happens if you have a state changes the law saying that children who are LGBTQ can't be in classrooms with other children? Is that legit under the way the decision is written? What are the next things that are going to be attacked? Because this MAGA crowd is really the most extreme political organization that's existed in American history.
McEnany.
The MAGA crowd, the 65% who want abortion banned in the second trimester and the 80% who want it banned in the third trimester. That sounds like quite a big crowd, so I'm happy to be in that crowd, if that's what he wants to call us. But Joe Biden sounds a lot like Joy Behar, and it's never a good thing to sound like Joyless Behar. But Joy Behar said, "My worry is that this is just the beginning. Next, maybe Brown versus Board of Education." Brown versus Board of Education, as almost all of our viewers know, says separate but equal is inherently unequal and led to the integration of schools. To at all suggest that, as Biden did, that all of these other cases are under threat, Joy Behar, that integration of schools would be under threat, it's cringeworthy, but it's expected. I mean, take the president at his word. Just yesterday, he talked about the aborting of a child. He used the word child. He's correct. It is a child, so good for him for having a moment of honesty there. But the rhetoric you're hearing from the left, I mean, Yamiche Alcindor in the White House press corps, here's what she said: women will be forced to have pregnancies that will turn into children. I mean, let that sink in. This is where we're at.
That's right. And actually, we have a thought of that, Kaylee. So I want to play. This is the president talking about aborting a child. Let's play it.
I do not view abortion as a...
One of the reasons why I voted against a number of the members in the court, they refused to acknowledge that there's a Ninth Amendment. They refused to acknowledge there's a right to privacy. I mean, there's so many fundamental rights that are affected by that. And I'm not prepared to leave that to the whims and the public at the moment.
So part of our ongoing conversation about this in the last couple of days is that what this potentially draft decision does is actually restore the authority and the power back into the hands of the people, where, because of the U.S. Constitution, that's exactly where it should reside. Here is our president saying, oh, no, I never want to leave it up to the people.
Yeah, it makes no sense. So what we've heard ad nauseum from the left is the majority of the American public wants Roe, but don't give it the decision to the states. Don't give the decision to the people. Okay, well, if everyone wants Roe, why not give the decision to the people, which constitutionally is exactly where it should be? We went through the liberal jurists yesterday who've criticized the holding of Roe. It's bad law. Give the decision to the people. What are you scared of?
That's right. And interestingly, so donations poured in for the Democrat Party after Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg passed away. But after the draft decision was leaked yesterday, Jackie, there was actually sort of a paltry donation. So maybe this attempted seizure isn't actually working. And the fact that people feel a certain way about this very hotly contested issue is not quite in the way that these progressive left radical Democrats think that they do.
Right. There was a little bit of a pop, but it wasn't quite what they were expecting. I think the issue really here is that, you know, they don't want to give the whim or the issue to the people to decide, because they are afraid that they're not going to get the outcome that they want. Listen, there are plenty of Republicans that live in blue states that deal with the decisions that those around them make and the officials that are elected. So tax and spend and soft on crime and all of these things. Those Republicans have a choice. Many of them have left and gone to red states because they feel that they're more aligned with their policies and their morals and their values. If somebody is living in a state that wants to put a little bit more of a restriction, this is not an opinion, by the way, that is going to undo abortion in this country. States may put some more restrictions on it, but people have the right to leave. They can go live somewhere else where it's more of a free-for-all and they can do whatever they want. Again, this should be about people. It should be about your peers. It should be about the choices that we want to make.
That's right. And Sean, so as a former congressman, obviously you've had such insight into this and such a, I'm sure, clear-headed view into where authority rests. Let's play just another soundbite of where our president, what he thought Roe v. Wade decided and how much he butchered the issue at heart. Take a listen. This is the religion one.
I do not view abortion as a choice and a right. I think it's always a tragedy. Well, I'm a bit of an odd man out in my party. I do not vote for funding for abortion.
So he is singing a vastly different tune, Sean. And in addition to changing his mind clearly, he also goes on to state that what Roe v. Wade decided was what all mainstream religions hold in part. So he's absolutely conflating the issue, which was actually authority of states and the people. And he's also changing his mind on a fundamental issue that they are trying to fundraise and galvanize young voters and progressive left voters for the upcoming midterms.
Absolutely. So first of all, it's great to be with you, ladies. Thanks for having me today.
Good to be here.
So to that point, that Joe Biden that gave you that clip, basically saying, I don't believe in abortion, he ran for president, and he could never win the primary races when he ran for president. He needed to be more radical. He needed to come to where he is today, because that Joe Biden could never win the primary, and he tried. But I think as you look at the politics of this, it's interesting because Chuck Schumer is saying, I'm going to bring a bill to the floor. If the Senate's not going to deal with this, we in the Senate will. If the Supreme Court won't deal with this, we in the Senate will. The problem with that is he can't take a middle-of-the-road position. Planned Parenthood, Emily's List is going to make him be far left. It's going to be abortion on demand, full-length of pregnancy. Well, Republicans will go, well, listen, I might support some abortion laws, which, by the way, I do not, but some abortion, I'm okay with, whether it's 9 weeks or 15 weeks. And they're going to be able to go, again, I'm not for full-term abortion, but I can take some abortion, and they can get out of the vote in the Senate. But senators from Georgia and Arizona and Nevada are going to have to vote on full-term abortion. This is bad politics. Mm-hmm. And so I look at how this plays out. I don't think it plays well for Democrats. Hispanics don't like abortion. Actually, African Americans don't like abortion. So again, and we're 6 months away from the election. So as you talk about abortion, and Americans go get their gas cans filled and they go to the grocery store, they're thinking about inflation. They're thinking about the border. They're not thinking about abortion. This is not going to work 6 months from the election because it's going to have time to dissipate within the minds of the American voter.
That's right. And Julie, Michael Goodwin sort of talked about that, where usually it's an October surprise, but he says now we've been blessed with a May surprise. Yeah. In furtherance of that bad politics, where Democrats essentially are inserting what they think that their party voters care about most and totally shell gaming from actually what everyone does care about. And just one more note on what bad politics is. Let's watch your friend Kamala Harris and her reaction to this leak of the draft. Take a watch.
Those Republican leaders who are trying to weaponize the use of the law against women, well, we say, how dare they? How dare they tell a woman what she can do and cannot do with her own body? How dare they? How dare they try to stop her from determining her own future? How dare they try to deny women their rights and their freedoms?
So notwithstanding the obvious double standard of you can do with you what you want with your body when it comes to that, but not to a vaccine or something like that.
Right.
How do you feel about her chances of efficacy on that, where shouting how dare they actually carries weight with her voters at the heart of the issue?
Well, she is a perfect example in her rage just now about how the Democratic Party is desperate. And this is why this was leaked. I mean, we all knew it was a Democrat that leaked it. And we're going to find soon who that person was. And there should be a harsh punishment for it. Never has this happened before. As far as abortion is concerned, I personally, as a mother of three, believe that life begins when I see that heartbeat. And I have myself had a miscarriage at 7 weeks pregnant. And I remember that devastation. And that wasn't my choice, unfortunately, but it ended up being a blessing because I had my third child. However, I don't believe Roe v. Wade is about abortion. It really, truly is about the government's control of our bodies. And that is just, that's like the gray line there. You know, I don't want the government to make decisions for me. Yeah. I don't want, if I knew a 10-year-old who was raped by their father and was forced to give birth to that child, I think I might feel a little differently about it. Myself, I don't believe in abortion, but I also believe in the right to choose. And I do not believe in full term, not even 15 weeks. I mean, at 7 weeks when I had my miscarriage, I felt that's the cutoff right there. So
I'm so sorry that happened to you, and thank you for sharing that with us.
Yeah.
And, you're not alone in that because, for example, Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg, again, who the left has sort of propped up and certainly edited a lot of her words, but she felt at the time, she said, doctrinal limbs too swiftly shaped, experienced teachers may prove unstable. She said the most prominent example in recent decades is, in fact, Roe v. Wade. So she called out at the time the overblown judicial overreach that Roe v. Wade was, irrespective of the issue of abortion. She pointed out that it was judicial overreach. She predicted this, and now the Democrats are trying to seize it on their behalf for the midterms. It is not going to work because Americans care about inflation, kitchen table issues, and putting food on their table.
What a liberal court giveth, a conservative court can taketh.
There you go. Perfectly said.
Court.
Hi, everyone. I'm Brian Kilmeade. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to click to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page. This is the only way that I know for sure that you're not going to miss any great commentary, any great news bites, any great interviews coming your way on Fox. You can get it all here on YouTube. So subscribe right now.